we know Wisconsin has always had a good work ethic, low unemployment rate, and we've also always sort of struggled to get the workers we need in this state. This is even before the pandemic. We know worker shortages and brain drain with our young people leaving Wisconsin after college to work elsewhere has been a challenge for our labor market for years, well before COVID hit. Well, Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce, the state's largest business group, also has a research and educational wing that has been tracking these things over the years. And this, along with other long-term challenges. Yesterday, the WMC Foundation unveiled what they're calling Wisconsin 2035. It is meant to be a blueprint for creating sustained economic growth in Wisconsin over the next 15 years. And the president of WMC, Kurt Bauer, joins me now to talk about it. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Jay. Great to be with you.
Well, it's good to have you on the show. And so what have we identified as Wisconsin's biggest economic challenges over the next 15 years or so? Is it a worker shortage or a skills gap or a technology gap or all the above? What?
Yes. Yeah, all of the above. But I think the most pronounced one is we've got a worker shortage. And we saw that with the census data. We've been talking about it for years. It's a simple math problem. We're just haven't been at replacement birth rates since the 1990s. And, of course, that means you're just not going to have the workers to replace the retiring baby boomers. We're a baby boomer-dominated workforce. They are at or reaching retirement age, and there just aren't enough Gen X or Gen Z to follow them. And that means literally we will not have the workers for the jobs that we already have, let alone any type of expansion. And it's a huge economic challenge for us. I used to say that this means status quo means economic stagnation, but it really means contraction. So we're talking about the contraction of the Wisconsin economy through mid-century.
Does the fact that more and more people can work remotely help? We've always talked about the young brain drain of college kids leaving and not coming back. Do you have a remote worker element in this that says that this would be more a way to have people living elsewhere but working here in Wisconsin?
COVID has changed that dynamic, to be sure. However, we're a manufacturing state. You can't make things on the shop floor remotely. We're an agriculture state. You need people on the dairy farm and out in the fields. You can't do that remotely. And the other conversation that we often have is automation is going to come to the rescue, and that's not true either. Automation helps, but it actually requires upskilled workers who know how to program and maintenance robotics. So the only solution to a workforce shortage is more workers. And
right.
the plan talks about what we can do to keep more Wisconsinites here by exposing them to the job options and careers that we have here in the state. We've got a very diverse economy. Young people need to be exposed to those jobs. We've got to bring more people in. The report doesn't really talk about immigration because we are focused at the state level, but that would have to be a role in this. But we talk about trying to change tax policy to incent people to migrate to Wisconsin because we know people move to low-tax states. Mm-hmm. People move out of high-tax states. This is why people are leaving Illinois and New York, Jersey, California. We want to be the destination, and we've got to do something bold.
Yeah, and your report floats a bold idea. Why not become a state that eliminates or dramatically flattens the state income tax, given that states with no income tax like Florida have become, super attractive to business owners and individual workers alike? I mean, that would really be bold reform. It's also need to be a state reform.
Right. We're the first state to initiate the income tax. So we could maybe then lead on eliminating it or at least reducing it. I mean, we've got 7.65% highest rate that was created under the Doyle administration. We could start by eliminating that. We could begin to phase down the personal income tax. That would absolutely bring people in. That would incent business activity. That would bring people into the state. And, people who would argue, well, what do you do with the tax revenue shortfall? There are ways that you could address that. But the reality is that as we don't have enough workers, you're going to see less economic activity in the state. That's going to reduce the tax roll. So more economic activity increases the tax revenue.
Well, and,
so
and
from
talk,
our
about
perspective,
talk about a game changer.
Formula.
Talk about a game changer. If Wisconsin would be a no income tax state in the upper Midwest, because if we want to grow a workforce as an upper Midwestern state that doesn't have sunshine or beaches or even a major U.S. city to attract people, that would do it. That would be a game changer.
And we're competing against the Midwest. So when we look at the migration patterns, we've done very well in attracting people from Illinois. Illinois, of course, is a basket case. It's in fiscal instability. Their economy is not doing well. The Chicagoland area has a lot of crime right now, so they've been losing a lot of population, and Wisconsin has received a lot of people coming up from Illinois. We need more people from Iowa and Minnesota coming into the state. We're competing largely against the Midwest, and frankly, I think we're the gem of the Midwest. We're the best kept secret in the United States, and that's not working out very well for us. We got to get that story out there, and bold tax reform would certainly make a mark.
We're talking with Kurt Bauer of Wisconsin Manufacturing and Commerce about a new report, a new investigation they've done to, grow Wisconsin's economy through 2035. A perpetual complaint and challenge for manufacturers has been a lack of skilled or properly educated labor. How does your blueprint propose to deal with that problem? Because I know, traditionally WMC and groups like it have talked about encouraging tech school training or some high school crossover programs. I do notice this report talks about focusing on STEM curriculum from the earlier grades. Yes?
Well, we want stronger collaboration with K12 in particular. I think the business community has a pretty good relationship already with the tech colleges and the university, both the private colleges and the UW system. But we've got to have a better collaboration with K12. We need more emphasis on STEM. Honestly, you look at tech colleges, they have advisory boards and committees for all of their degree areas and certificates. We need something like that at K12. K12 needs to understand the needs of the business community, and that's not an attack on them, because the business community needs to be a part of that as well. We need stronger collaboration. We need to focus on the basics, because our proficiency in math and reading were not good pre-COVID, and they've only gotten worse.
Yeah. When it comes to attracting talent, a quote from the report: business leaders suggested targeting 3 specific groups of people in a campaign to draw talent: alumni from Wisconsin colleges, military veterans, and young people looking to leave high-cost, high-tax states like Illinois. It sounds smart, but what would a campaign like that look like?
Well, very similar to the one that we had under the Walker administration. We had a talent attraction campaign that I think was doing very good work, and it targeted exactly what you said. We have the most benefits for veterans of any state in the country, so let's get them to move here when they muster out of the military. People who have attended a post-secondary institution of higher education in Wisconsin and move someplace else are strong candidates to move back. I'm a perfect example. I moved to Phoenix and I came back to Wisconsin. I'm a Wisconsinite. I went to UW-Madison. So I think that there's a tremendous opportunity to tell people about our low cost of living, our great cities. I mean, we've got the best small and medium-sized towns that people outside of Wisconsin have never heard of. I mean, again, we're the best kept secret out there, and we've got to tell our story. A talent attraction campaign is a no-brainer from our perspective. We've got to try and lure people in. We spend a lot of money trying to convince people to take their vacations here. We need to spend a little bit of money to try and get people to move here.
That's a great point. I've known so many people that moved out of Wisconsin and moved back within a few months or a few years. And this is what sort of relates to my last question here. I get that we have a shortage of worker problem, and why. Why is retention of talented workers a problem, and how do we make staying in Wisconsin jobs more attractive moving forward? I think people love Wisconsin once they get here.
Well, I think that there's an emphasis on in the K-12 towards pushing everybody towards a 4-year college degree, and sometimes you get that degree and you may not be able to find work in that degree area in Wisconsin. So we'd like to see more people go into the jobs that we have available. We have great jobs in the professional trades. There's they pay higher than what you're going to get getting a political science or history degree. I'm picking on that because that's my degree area. But becoming an electrician or a plumber, a millwright, a welder. I mean, these are great jobs They don't require as much schooling, at least on the front side, and you can get a head start on earning and get into the workforce quicker. So we think we need more education in K-12 on what the career options are available. We want more tours of facilities and factories. We want young people to be aware of what jobs are available in Wisconsin.
Is there a website that you could point people to look at the particulars of this? Because this is another instance in which we can't really do it justice on the radio. If we have people in Wisconsin, I know we have a lot of business owners and a lot of business minded people in this audience. If they really want to spend a little more time on the report and
the report's available at WMC.org. It's called Wisconsin 2035. It is an outlook on what Wisconsin is going to look like if we just allow the status quo to occur, and it's not pretty.
Couldn't be easier. WMC.org. Kurt Bauer, President of Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce. Thanks so much for being on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Jay.